Hi everyone, welcome to the solution video for the third assignment. In this assignment, you were tasked to create the Fizz program and a basic calculator program. So if you have not attempted this assignment yet, I would highly encourage you to try it on your own first before looking at this video. If you're stuck, I would say if you can, try to give it another day or two. Sometimes solutions come to you at the weirdest times. So just try to let things play out in your mind before just getting the solution, because once you get the solution, you lose the benefit of figuring it out on your own and actually really learning. And a lot of programming is learning by trial and error. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into the solution for this. So let's start off with FizzBuzz. So in this program, you are asked to get a number from the user. And if the number is divisible by 3, we're going to print fizz. If it's divisible by 5, we're going to print buzz. And if it's divisible by both 3 and 5, we're going to print out fizz buzz. And then if it's not divisible by 3 or 5, we got to let the user know. So here's some output for the example. You guys can see that. And let's get into the code for this one. So for this, we just used a if-else block. So the first thing that we do is we get the input from the user here on line 2, and then we take that user input and we convert it into a number. And after that, we just go through this if-else block, right? So the first thing we check is if the number is divisible by 3, it's going to be, well, the remainder is going to be 0, right? Because remember the modulo operator here. And then the other one's going to be, if the remainder is equal to 0. If they're both of those are true, then we print fizzbuzz. And then same thing goes for here. Else, if it's neither of these, then else if it's divisible by 3, we're going to print fizz. Else if it's divisible by 5, we're going to print buzz. Otherwise, it's, else, the very last statement, and that's going to be our very last case. If all else fails, it's not divisible by 3 or 5, right? So one thing to keep in mind is the order of these. The order matters of how you check some of these conditionals sometimes. Because if I was to put this 3, if I was to put this block above this one, then it might not catch that it was divisible by 5 as well. So something like 15, for example, it would just stop at the 3. It would just say fizz, and that's it. It wouldn't say fizz buzz. So you got to keep in mind of the order of these. So you want to check first if it's divisible by both of these, and if it is, then you're going to want to print the fizz buzz, right? Otherwise, if it's not, then it's gonna be one of the other, right? If it's not both. But again, if it's both and you do, buzz or fizz first, it's not gonna get to this last part. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so that's fizz buzz. All right, let's go on to the next assignment, or the next part of the assignment, which is to create a calculator, a basic calculator. So in this program, we are tasked with getting three inputs from the user. The first input and the second input are going to be numbers, and then we're going to pick an operator. It's going to be addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Um, and this kind of came out a little bit weird here with the operators. This is supposed to be the input, and then this is supposed to be the output. This is the input here, the negative or the minus sign, and then this is the output. It just kind of printed weird. But anyway, so yeah, so this is kind of the result of it. And then also, if it's an invalid operator, so here for this example, we put a percent in, and then we say percent is invalid operator. So you want to let the user know if they're trying to perform a function that isn't supported by the program, right? Okay, so let's go through the code for this one. And then for this one, we used a switch statement, and you'll see that down here. So here, very similar to the last one where we just get the user input, right? We use the prompt command, and then we take that number and we parse it into an integer. If you wanted to, you could have used parse float here as well, like we did in the last assignment, and that will allow you to pretty much perform these operations on decimal numbers, which you can easily do that if you want. It doesn't say you can't, but I just did it with integers, just it was a little simpler. Um, so anyway, yeah. So here we have parse int. We get the first number, parse it, convert it into an integer, grab it. Same thing with the second number, get the input from it from the user, convert it into a actual number instead of a string, and then we ask the user for the operator. So we pick plus, minus, multiplication, division. You can add more if you want. You can put all the operators if you want. It's not limited to the four that I put in here, but for the sake of the assignment, to get the point across of how to use a switch statement, I think this is plenty. So now into the switch statement. So the switch statement takes this operator, right? So this is what we're pretty much determining the cases off of. So we're going to go through and we're going to say, okay, well, if the operator is a plus sign, well, we're going to console log num1 plus num2 is going to be equal to the result of the addition result of these, right, of num1 and num2. If it's minus, same thing. It's going to be minus. If it's multiplication, we're going to console log the multiplication result, division result, etc. Then our default case is that it's an invalid operator, because if it's not one of these that we gave them the option to pick, then we can't really do anything with it. So we just say, okay, that's an invalid operator. Okay, so that's it for the third assignment. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and we can go over them. All right, thank you so much.